Okay, so this is Miss Lindley again. We are going to be doing the grade 7 unit exam, and I'm reading part 2. So for this part, you have to show your work. If you do not show your work, you will not get the credit. So for example, for number 16, solve and graph the inequality. So you have to actually show what you're doing. It says negative 5x minus 2 is less than or equal to negative 7. You're first getting rid of the subtraction. So whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. She needs to see all that work that you're doing. Then you're going to put x blah 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 what it equal or not what it equals, but whatever the inequality is, and the answer goes here. Then you actually have to graph it. So is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle, and which direction does the arrow go? So right after you do that, then you have to do number 17. It says solve and graph the inequality. X divided by 2 minus 8 is greater than negative 6. Again, if you see any addition or subtraction, you have to do that first. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Make sure you're using your calculator. Make sure you are showing your work. After you do whatever it is you did to both sides, you're dropping down the x divided by 2, you're dropping down the inequality sign, and you're putting your answer down here. There's one more step. What step do you have to do next? You have to do the opposite of division. Whatever the opposite of division is, whatever you do that side, you have to do to the other. Write your answer here, and then you have to graph the inequality. So open or close circle, and which direction is the line going? Question number 18 says a warehouse holds 460 boxes. They ship out 65 boxes each week. After how many weeks will they have less than 100 boxes remaining? Write and solve an inequality that can be used to determine how many weeks it will take for the warehouse to have less than 100 boxes. I'm going to highlight some important information here. So you know it starts with 460 boxes. They ship out, which would be taking away or a minus sign. They ship out 65 boxes, but it's each week. After how many weeks, we can use W for weeks, will they have less than 100 boxes remaining? So you're starting with 460. You know ship out means to minus 65 boxes each week. Well, we don't know how many weeks, so which number does the variable W go with? And then they will have less than 100 boxes. Go ahead and set up that inequality, and then you can go ahead and solve it. You need to make sure, just like in the top two, you show all your work and write the answer down here on the line. Comprende? All right, next question, number 19. Emily is encouraged to read more than 4 hours each week. It takes her 45 minutes to finish her first book. She divides the remainder of the time equally amongst the other 6 days. So you need to write and solve an inequality to find the minimum number of minutes she should read each day. So I see one thing that's a little confusing here. It's that they're talking about hours, and then they're talking about minutes, and they want us to actually find the minimum number of minutes she should read each day. I would first say how many minutes is 4 hours? Well, how many minutes are in an hour? 60. And we want to know if there are 4 hours, 60 minutes each hour. 60 times 4 is how many minutes in an hour? So instead of using 4 hours, you're going to use 240 minutes. So instead of using 4 hours, you're going to use 240 minutes instead. So she reads more than, or she wants to read more than 4 hours or 240 minutes each week. She wants to win. I'll help you set up that first part. So we're not using 4 hours, we're using 240 minutes. Now, it takes her 45 minutes to finish her first book. That's how much she read first. She divides the remainder of the time equally amongst the other 6 days. All right, write and solve an inequality to find the minimum number of minutes she should read each day. So we want to know the minimum number of days it will take her to read more than 240 minutes. How many days is that going to take her? All right, this is the last problem. It looks like multiple parts. I will read the bonus to you after. Number 20, Jim needs to rent a car. A rental company charges $21 per day. Seems important. $21 per day to rent a car. And 10 cents for every mile driven. He will travel 250 miles and has $115 to spend. Write an inequality to be used to determine D, the maximum. So we need to figure out D, the maximum number of days Jim can rent a car. So we want to know how many days. 21 is the number that goes with our variable for D for days. And he has to pay 10 cents every mile. So that over here, you do have to do a little more math. You know that he traveled 250. So if he traveled 250 miles, you have to times that by 0.10 to figure out the number that you have to put. So 21D plus what you got for this, and it has to, he only has $115 to spend, so he would have to spend less than or equal to that amount. All right, so I basically just told you how to set that one up. You have to write it here. You have to show all of your work to solve it. Then down here, Jim believes the maximum whole number of days he can rent the car is 5. Is he correct? Why or not? Why not? So you would write something like, no, he can't because. So it says hint, solve the inequality, then write a sentence. So whatever you got for here, you're going to get D is blah, 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 then a number. So you can just write yes because D is blank, 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 or no because D is blank, blank, blank. All right. And the last one, I'll read it to you, but you have to do this one on your own. Andy, Bobby, and Carl are each 1 year apart in age. The sum of their ages is greater than the age of their father, who is 60. How old can the oldest brother be? And then you have to write age the oldest brother can be for that one. So you have to solve it. You have to show the work if you want any credit. And then you got to write the answer down here. And I believe that should be it.